I'm so scared for this video. I'm not
Welcome back to Crazy or Okay, so today is a different video, but it's gonna be fun and I'm really excited. She's scared for this video.
I'm so scared for this video.
I'm excited.
Hannah came up with the idea. She screenshotted all the questions. I have no idea what is going on, which is why I'm a little like, ah.
So today, it's, as you guys probably saw the title, it's I'm asking my mom questions. You guys are too afraid to ask your parents. These are from you guys, and these are also like, I'm actually curious about some of these questions. No. So, okay. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Oh, my most embarrassing story?
Yeah.
I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Gosh.
We can go to a different one while you think of that one.
I might need to think about that.
I know that was kind of like.
Can you think of any embarrassing stories for me?
Of you?
Okay, wait. I have a couple actually. Okay, I thought of it. We're good. Okay, first one in the Bahamas when we're out in the beautiful ocean and crystal clear waters and there's a swing and it's just this beautiful thing. And Joe's there and he's like, Crystal, let's flip off the swings. And I'm like, oh, we'll just fall into the ocean. Nothing can go wrong. You're supposed to let go of the swings. Once you fall off of them, means you let go of them. Yeah, I didn't let go of the chain. The swing swung around and hit me in the nose, and then I'm bleeding, and I thought the sharks were coming for me. That was super embarrassing.
I got secondhand embarrassment.
And then, so that one was pretty bad. That was the most recent one. And then one was when I was a teenager and I was at school and my period leaked, and that's always super embarrassing. I don't care what situation it is, but I did have a friend in class that was like, hey, you know, and I called my mom and she brought me new pants. But I would just say it was embarrassing at the time, but it is a normal thing that a lot of people go through, so yeah. Oh no.
How would you handle if I got pregnant?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So, a couple of things. We're very open with our kids. I do think that you should be very open with your kids, and because I felt like I was a teenage mom, if you guys don't know that, and my mom was very much like, you don't talk about it, you don't, nothing. And so I feel like I wasn't educated on necessarily how to not become pregnant or just to prevent the situation. So I do feel like I'm very open with my kids about those kind of conversations. So I would probably be a little disappointed because I feel like we're very open about that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I would obviously support you. So not that I would ever like encourage that or anything at her age. I feel like teenage pregnancy is a hard road to go down, and I would feel for you and know that, you know, you're going to be going through a lot and hope that you're in a good relationship. And yeah, there's a whole thing with it, but
Would you ever let me go on a trip with a boy?
How old are you? Like right now?
Yeah, like right now.
No, probably.
No?
I'll be honest.
You can't follow that question up with the one that you just did.
Oh yeah, that was not a good question to ask after the previous question. I think that would be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
What if it was in like a group,
No.
like a group?
Like if it was like a senior trip
Yeah,
and you're going on a group and I trusted everyone you were with, then yes, that's one thing. If it was just you and a boy going alone, and I would say no at your age.
Okay. I understand that actually. Okay. Was giving birth as painful and scary as it sounds?
Even more so than I thought. It is painful. It is painful and it is scary because you never know what can go on in childbirth, and sometimes there's emergency C-sections, or sometimes you bleed more than you should, or whatever the case is. I would say it was scary, but obviously you get a baby. I don't know. Like, it's how you bring children into this world, and it is a beautiful experience, but it is painful and scary.
Did you regret having children at your teenage years?
If I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't change my situation because I felt like I grew and learned, and there was so much good that came from it, and Hallie is the biggest blessing in our lives. So would I go back and change it? No. But if I could have the same kid, same situation, I obviously would have waited because it was really difficult financially. Aaron and I were so young and we didn't fully even know each other, so it made it hard in like learning communication, and there was just so many things that I wish we would have known prior to having kids. I wouldn't change it because I learned and grew from that. Oh
Okay.
no.
That one's just funny. So the question someone put, why didn't she marry a rich man?
Because it's not about money, guys. It's not about money. At the end of the day, it's happiness. And honestly, I'm so happy in my relationship. I would live in a cardboard box with Aaron and have a happy life. So it's not about money.
I'm always afraid to ask my mother if I can go to like a party with my friends. So how do you go about asking a mom to like a party?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think from a parent standpoint, we want to understand the situation, because sometimes you guys will come to me and be like, "Can I go to this party?"
Yeah, and you're
And I'm
like,
like,
where, who?
Where, who? Is there gonna be drinking? Is there appearance? Is there like, there's so many questions. And so I think do your research, because parties can be really scary. There are some not good ones, especially in our area. There's been some really bad situations that's happened at parties recently. Not with our kids there, just you hear about it on the news. So do your research, make sure you know who's going to the party, know the situation. But I think when going to your parents and coming with that information, I'm more likely to say yes if they are like, hey, I'm going to a party. Yes, the parents are home, or I don't know, this is who I'm going with.
Yeah, I feel like if we go to like mom with like saying like already the information, she's more likely to say yes and just like be like, oh, let me go figure it out. Like, let me like, so.
And just be open and honest with your parents. Sometimes the kids will come to me and say like, hey, I don't know if the parents are gonna be there. Once I get there, can I call you or FaceTime you and see, you know what I mean? Like, so I just feel like having those open conversations.
What age did you have your first boyfriend?
My first like official boyfriend, I guess, I was 15, maybe 16, right in there. I don't really remember actually, but I was either 15 or 16.
Okay, what's the craziest thing you did when you were younger?
I wasn't that wild of a teen, I'll be honest. I worked a lot, but I did toilet paper someone's house, and the police got called because we didn't know who lived there, and they tried to charge us with trespassing. And then the police came and we ran from the police, and I was young and didn't think this through. I had my school backpack on, and I threw my backpack in a bush because I couldn't run fast with it. It was really heavy. And the police found my backpack and got my ID out of it, and they caught me anyways. So don't ever run from the police. But yeah, and I got community service for that one. I had to work at the library. It was that or wash cop cars. That was my choices. That was the stupidest thing I did. I wouldn't do that if I could redo it.
Is it okay to hide tattoos from your mom if she hates for her own moral reasons?
It's okay to hide? No. I don't feel like, I don't know. And I don't know your mom or your situation, but I would feel really sad if any of my kids hid something from me just because they knew I wouldn't like it. Yeah. Like, they know how I feel about like certain situations, not even tattoos, but at the same time we respect each other's differences or different.
Yeah, I feel like I was one time at that point where I was like, well, let me just like hide it because I know she wouldn't like it.
She pierced her own ear.
Yeah, I did. But I feel like now you're always like, I'll love you like no matter like what. So it's like now I feel like I don't have to hide things in that way. So
and I think it depends on your age too, and don't do a tattoo like at a young age, not safely. Like make sure it's at a reputable place, make sure it's so I think
Do you judge me for the choices I make? Like bad choices?
No. I feel like everyone is going to go through life and make their own mistakes and learn and grow from it, and there's a reason why they have to go through a particular thing, but I just don't want you to hide it from me. I don't know.
Yeah. How would you feel if I asked you to put on birth control?
It's a good question, actually. I feel like I would be happy that you came to me and that we could have that open conversation of why you wanted to be put on it and that whole thing. So I would be happy.
Also, these aren't my questions. So
This is like
some of them are like theirs. So these are just questions that are being asked. So, do you ever get insecure?
yes. Actually, really often. I feel like it's a normal feeling to feel insecure about things, but it's how you handle that insecurity or like how you work through it.
What is too young to get married?
Oh, we've had this conversation in our house. That's why we're always like, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And I think it's okay to say you don't know. I feel like there's situations where, like Shelly and Jared from Crazy Middles, they only knew each other for 3 months and they got married and they're happily, living happily ever after, however you want to word that. But I know this one's more about age than it is about how long you've known somebody, so I didn't really answer the question properly.
Like if I wanted to get married,
I would encourage you to wait.
What 3 values do you think are most important to teach like us?
What 3 values? I think being a good person is a really, really good value, like how you treat other people. Because I think, unfortunately, a lot in our world is, well, and I won't even say it, in teenagers a lot, you're like, okay, it's all about me, or you know what I mean, and you go through life and that yourself is super important. But I think it's important how you treat other people and those values. The second one is self-worth. Knowing that you're worthy of good things and just self-worth in general. There's so much under that, but self-worth is a really important value. And third, financial responsibility. Because I feel like that's one that a lot of people struggle and it makes their life a lot harder.
Dating and marriage advice.
Dating and marriage advice. Okay. I feel like dating is so much harder nowadays, at least from what I see the kids go through and the people around me that are single.
Yes.
So I feel like when I was young, dating was very simple. Like either it was your boyfriend or girlfriend or your partner or it wasn't. You guys go through this whole talking phase and then we're like talking and they shouldn't talk to anyone else, but we're not exclusive, so they can, but then that's cheating, but it's not. And I'm like, y'all just made dating way more complicated than it is. So I would say some good dating advice is to set the expectations up front. Because I feel like a lot of times you guys are like, well, I don't know what we are, or can he talk to someone else? I don't know. So I feel like having those conversations, communication is number one most important thing that you can do in relationship or marriage. Make sure that you're communicating how you feel, even if it's hard to say how you feel, say it anyways, because you will regret later not having those conversations and keeping it clear.
I think this is like a question for both of us, but how do you have a great bond with your mom? I love you from New Zealand.
Oh, we love you too.
I don't know. I feel like we've always just clicked. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think
it goes back to having that open communication.
Yeah.
Like Hannah comes to me for a lot of things and I'll go and talk to her about things or whatever, and I feel like we just have always had this really close relationship because our communication's really good.
And I think I always make time for her. So I think that's important to make time for people you love to grow a relationship, because if you're not putting an effort into the relationship, then it doesn't grow and it doesn't so.
It's very true. Very well said.
Did you ever have second thoughts about getting married?
I actually did. I did. It was actually the day after I got married. And I woke up the next morning. Okay, my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom towards the, for a lot of my life. But, so every morning she would get up and what do you want for breakfast? And I'm like, oh, I want eggs today. And so she would do that and, whatever. But, so the morning after I got married, I woke up and I was like, hey, Aaron, I'd like some oatmeal for breakfast. And he just looks over at me and he's like, the pots are in the cabinet. And I just started bawling. I just started crying. And I remember sitting at the table just crying. And I'm like, why? Why did I get married? Why did I leave my house? The comfort of my own home, my mom. I just really missed her. And it was this whole moment. And then I sucked it up and made myself oatmeal. But fun fact, Aaron now makes me breakfast. It only took 12 years later. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I still make my own breakfast most mornings.
So don't get married. I'm just kidding. Okay. What are parent red flags for your child's significant other?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I would say one, just toxic relationships in general will normally push people out that are in your life. Like whether it is friends, whether it is family. And it starts so slow where they're like, oh, I didn't like how your sister did this, or I didn't like, the way your mom looked at me, or whatever the case is. But if there starts to be where they push friends out and all of a sudden you notice that you're isolated, that's a huge red flag, very big red flag. I would also say how the pets react. I know that sounds crazy. But when our dog Isaac was alive, I'm telling you, he knew. When anyone would walk in, like Melinda had a boyfriend walk in one time and our dog just peed on the floor, and he never had accidents, like ever. And he ended up being a really not good guy. And then Ariana was dating someone, and again, Isaac was like the sweetest dog ever and really good dog. And then all of a sudden she brought a guy in and our dog attacked, like literally attacked and bit him. And I was like, what the heck? And sure enough, a week or two later, she had found out that he was cheating. And so there's just always been something like that, but I don't know. That was just that dog, though. I don't think we have current dogs that have that good of intuition. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I don't know. Just keep your eyes open and don't make excuses when it comes to things, because I feel like when you start making excuses, that's a red flag.
Okay, this is our last question, and it's just a fun one. It's, do you feel like you have too many dogs?
Yes. So, well, yes and no. I don't think you can ever have too many dogs because they bring so much joy and happiness. But I don't know how we ended up where we ended up. Because I love like one or two dogs and you give them all the attention and it's like, but then all of a sudden Max got a dog and then all of a sudden, I know I had a whole part in that, and I know Erin and I were having this conversation the other day, and then all of a sudden you look and you have all these dogs running around, and then obviously Mella, because Alex moved back in, so we have the pug, and then when Hallie comes over, she brings her two dogs, and I'm like, I feel like we're like an animal shelter, like we just have all these dogs, but I do love each and every one of our dogs, but there's a lot sometimes. Wait, I feel like I didn't get to ask you any questions.
What? This was strictly...
How do you ask out a guy?
I don't ask guys out. I actually don't even talk to guys unless like guys talk to me actually. Like I don't ever go
But
out
if you were gonna ask a guy, how would you ask him?
It's so bad. I was like, do you want to hang out? I get so scared. Like even if I feel like, even I was talking to this guy for like so long, and every time I'd even ask him to hang out, like I'd still get scared. Like even just asking him to hang out, even though I knew he'd want to hang out with me, I would still get scared.
Alright, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.